I need that money. I really, really do. I need that money. I really need that money. Really need that money. I need that money. I really, really do. I need that money. I really need that money. Really need that money. Really, that money. That money.
Talk about Smart Guys. Yesterday was my Smart Guys episode 14, which was the WrestleMania 41 Super Show. This was a 4-hour endeavor of me completely covering match by match everything that went down during WrestleMania 41, both nights, plus 2 special guests live, the input of Cypress TV on the fly as well. It was a big undertaking, the logistics of it, to get it set up and everything, watching all of that wrestling over the weekend. And I had told you guys about it, and I had hyped it up. I mean, having these guest hosts over the last month hyped up the big WrestleMania event, right? It lasted a long time. It was fun to do. I'll be honest, I feel like that was the best episode of Smart Guys 2025. The reason being, no drama whatsoever, full coverage of the entire event, and multiple different people's takes on the matches, and some of them we really disagreed. Like, for example, I thought the Jey Uso-Gunther match was good, but sadly it crushes Gunther, but I liked how it went down. I also did not like the Tiffany-Charlotte match, but I really liked the triple threat match of the women's title on the second night, and I also thought that the main event of night 1 wasn't very good because the ending had been spoiled already by the entire internet. Most of the hosts disagreed with me. A lot of people hated that Jey Gunther match. A lot of people loved the main event of night 1 and thought it was the best thing of both nights. So that's the good thing about having guests and co-hosts. It's not just one person in an echo chamber talking. It's other opinions, other feedback, and I think that made the show that much better to have it like that. Okay? Now, it was my entire first stream, and I really enjoyed it, and I think viewership-wise, it did good. You know, on YouTube, it did decent. On Kick, it did decent. But we didn't hit my support goal for the whole stream. That includes the podcast and Smart Guys, okay? So I want to get you guys to just understand my perspective here, all right? Getting back into Smart Guys, I was already skeptical about it because I wasn't sold that people were going to care that much about my opinions on pro wrestling when I had been so far removed from pro wrestling. I always knew that part of the gimmick of Smart Guys coming back was having PPP as my co-host. I knew that we were going to basically get like a bump of attention from the Kino Casino viewership. And that did happen at first. But that quickly petered out. Within 2-3 weeks, the casino viewers were gone, and so was their support. Even PPP couldn't bring the butts to the seats. So it became apparent that I was going to have to do something different with the show. And after shit canning PPP, all right, I knew that it was going to have to be something more interesting than just me sitting here every week talking about wrestling. So I mixed it up. I started having co-hosts, and that's different. That's way outside of my comfort zone, especially because it was the logistics of, you know, getting everyone on Discord and making that work, which I'm happy that I've now learned how to do. This thing keeps screwing up. There we go. I'm happy that I've learned how to do it because now, basically on the fly, I should be able to have like guests on whenever I want, as long as I have their Discord. I figured out all the ins and outs of Discord and how to do it. You saw yesterday when I had Ralph on, I was able to resize him and get it to work on the show and everything on the fly. I was like, oh, it's that easy. So I'm good to go. And this is great. Moving forward, it's going to benefit me. So in the long run, you have to understand this was not a waste of time. It's, you know, it was actually worth it to put this effort in, right? But I put in more effort on yesterday's Smart Guys than I have, you know, on pretty much any piece of content in a bit, because you have to understand something. When I'm going to do a podcast, yes, I do research for the show. Yes, I set up stuff in my PCs. I got it all ready here for today when we do Oblivion and everything. We got game news and everything here, right? But it's pretty simple. It's time-consuming, but it's simple, all right? To do Smart Guys, this is an incredible investment of time. I have to watch hours and hours of pro wrestling over the course of the week. I have to take copious notes because some people are like, how is watching TV work? Because I'm not just watching TV. I'm sitting here and every fucking match I'm typing a ridiculous amount of notes in my phone about what's going on in the match so that I can reference this later on the show. It's a work. It is work. It's the same as if you're watching a movie and reviewing it and you're taking notes and everything. You know, it's just as serious as that. Okay. And then to have these guests, you know, working with them, working on a schedule, getting, you know, OBS and Discord set up and everything. It's a lot of work. It's twice as much work as a regular stream for me. A gameplay stream? Are you kidding me? That's the easiest, right? You just set it up. You play it through OBS. Yeah, sometimes you have technical difficulties, but for the most part, that's the cakewalk stuff. You know what I mean? But this show's tough to do. It's challenging because of the amount of work and time investment. So for me yesterday, I was there doing the show. I'm having a blast. I'm like, wow, this actually is like a really professional piece of content. I'm covering every match. We've got guests chiming in. This is great. And then for the end of the show to see we didn't even hit my basic support goal for a stream, which we've been hitting pretty regularly, let's be honest, except for oddball streams like Pirate Yakuza or last night's Atom Fall, which is the end of a lengthy playthrough that wasn't that popular. My streams have been doing good. So why is the thing that I just put the most time and effort into doing the worst, right? And so sometimes what you got to do is you have to look at things like this, right? And you have to say, is it worth the time? Is it worth the effort? I think that the quality of the product I'm putting out is good. But sadly, I'm going to be honest. I think that because I've been so far removed from pro wrestling for so long, there really isn't many people on the internet saying, gee, I want to hear DSP's opinions on pro wrestling. You know what I mean? And I don't think that even when PPP was part of the show, I think that was the case as well. That people would tune in from time to time to see some drama, and then maybe a few people would want to hear the wrestling. But the wrestling crowd was not coming to the show and supporting it in droves or anything like that. Okay? Now, if you want to know the truth, are you ready for a shocker? Because this is going to be a truth bomb. All right? Are you ready for this? Was SmarkGuys ever really that popular? Even back in the day when I used to do the show originally with John Rambo as my co-host? The answer is very simple. No. SmarkGuys was actually never that popular. Even back in the day, the most popular episode maybe had like 20, 30,000 views. I think maybe like the first couple episodes may have like 50,000 because so many people wanted to see the beginning of the show. But back in the day, SmarkGuys also was not very popular. The original run, okay? And you might say, well, really? I thought, no. Back then, you have to understand, I didn't have any streams. It wasn't streamed. I actually started streaming it kind of in the middle of the run of the show. We didn't have any support during live streams. It was solely based on views and ad revenue. So even back in the day, SmarkGuys wasn't putting butts in seats, wasn't getting a lot of attention, and wasn't making a lot of money. You want to know the truth? SmarkGuys was a way for me to hang out with my friends, make content that could diversify my portfolio of what I was doing, and then also do other things that made money. So, for example, John Rambo would come visit me on a Saturday. We would sit down and do SmarkGuys for 2 hours. It would be fun to do. Yeah, we'd upload that episode and we'd make a few bucks. Then we'd spend the rest of the day doing games. And it was the game playthrough content that made us revenue. It was never SmarkGuys. That's just the truth, okay? Now, I'm sure that over the course of the last decade, things have changed. As I've heard from guys like Cypress TV and Gahul, there is an internet wrestling community of people who are dedicated to covering everything pro wrestling. And there's entire businesses based around this. And there's podcasts and there's crossovers with real life wrestlers and all. And all this has happened in the last decade, the decade that I've been removed from pro wrestling. So sadly, I kind of missed the boat. Perhaps if I had stuck around doing SmarkGuys over the last decade, I would have actually grown. I would have gotten that kind of reach. I would have gotten that kind of attention, and maybe people would have cared. But I'm going to be honest here. I just don't think many people care about my thoughts on pro wrestling like they used to. You know, more people care about my thoughts on games. More people care about my thoughts on news and stuff like that. More people show up to hang out with me on a late night chill stream than to watch SmarkGuys. But here's the shame of it. I like doing the show. I do. I feel that doing different kinds of content is the way for me moving forward. Not just Phil's the guy who sits there and plays games and rages and yada yada. That's not going to last forever. I'm 43 years old. I'm going to continue to age, and the appeal of seeing me play every video game will wane. People will not be as interested. Get it? So because of that, I have to diversify my content. Okay? We've tried some things in the last year, including politics and stuff like that. Didn't really work. Maybe one day I will get back to DS politics. It's possible, but I'm just not that interested in it right now. Okay? This was a different way to diversify my content. All right? But again, it doesn't seem like it's really working. I don't know what to do because I'm trying to be as transparent as possible here. If you liked SmarkGuys, I needed you to show up engage and support with SmarkGuys. Some people did do that, but it just wasn't a lot. Most people who went by and supported that show, I feel they were supporting it just because of me, not because of the content, but because, hey, it's DSP, I want to help them out tonight. Or it was like a few people would support the show, but it was sporadic. Okay? So what to do? Well, I'll tell you this, I'm taking time off. After doing that super show, that was so much effort and time and everything. Okay? I'm not going to continue doing the show weekly right now. This week I'm taking off. Next week I'm taking off. At the earliest, I'll bring back SmarkGuys sometime in May. In fact, what I'd like to do is just see what happens with pro wrestling. Right now, Monday Night Raw last night was one of the best shows I've seen in a long time. And Monday Night Raw last night was better than all of WrestleMania. I'm serious. I don't know why they actually made their yearly Super Bowl style event worse than the night after. It doesn't make sense. Why save the good stuff for after your event? But they did. It's like they held back at WrestleMania just for the show the next night to be great. Well, I'm burnt out. I don't want to cover it right now. Okay? So, I will consider bringing SmarkGuys back sometime in May. When I do, likely what it'll be is getting caught up on the plot lines that I haven't been covering, possibly doing some NXT or doing some AEW. But if I'm going to bring it back, there has to be incentive and buy-in that people are going to care. Not, oh, I put all this time and effort into it. You know, I'm watching all this show. I research stuff. I try to get a co-host. I do the show, and no one shows up, and there's no support. I'm just not going to do it. I am being pulled in many directions to do different kinds of content. Today, all of a sudden, people want me to play Oblivion. But then people will say, why didn't you play Blueprints? And then people will say, oh, but you didn't play Black Ops like you had promised. Hey, when you get back to Minecraft, that's been really fun. Hey, Phil, what about Clear Obscure later this week? That's a brand new game. You're going to play it, right? Hey, Phil, what about that? It's constant. It's literally constant that people pull me in all these directions and want me to do all these different things. Okay? So I need to be using my time wisely because I'm only one person. If I was a team of people, if I was all these people working together, well, this person could work on this project and this person could work on this project, but I'm one guy and I'm in demand. People want to see me do different things. So I've got to do what people want and I got to do, make some tough decisions. Right now, I think the best decision is let's have SmarkGuys go on a hiatus. To be honest, it was always supposed to be the beginning of the year, the debut of Raw on Netflix through WrestleMania. That was the idea. And then we were going to see how things petered out, how things went. And if it went, like, for example, yesterday, if that show did really well, let's say that attendance was high and I hit like multiple goals and things, I was going to just continue the show weekly. I would have done one this Thursday. No exaggeration. I would have done another show this Thursday. But it was literally the opposite. So let's see what happens and go from there. But for now, SmarkGuys, I'm putting on hiatus. We'll see if I decide to bring it back sometime, maybe next month. But for now, I need a break from pro wrestling. Again, if you want it, ask for it. If you want it, support it. Don't say, I'm sad it's gone. When you had it, where were you? That's the best way that I can make judgments these days is who's showing up, who's engaging, and who's supporting content. If we have projects that I'm working on and people aren't showing up, engaging, and supporting, then why would I continue them? Right? Okay. I hope that makes sense. All right. So more shout outs. We have Cade with a $2 super chat. Did the copyright thing get solved? Oh, good question. I completely forgot about this thing. So the weirdest freaking thing happened yesterday. I was live streaming this podcast. And yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe pro wrestling shouldn't be a dedicated show. Maybe. Okay. All right. You know what? All right. You know what? Maybe we're coming up with a different idea. All right. Bear with me for a second here, everyone. How does this sound? All right. This is interesting now. Okay. How about this? How about a show that's a variety show? It's not a dedicated podcast like this show where we talk about my schedule and we talk about how stuff went and we talk about gaming news, but instead it's a variety show, all right, about various different topics. Maybe one day we are covering big game news, but another day we're covering real life news. Maybe one day we're covering politics. Maybe one segment we're talking about pro wrestling. And how about this? Because I actually have my shit together now, I could actually have guests on the show from all different walks of life to talk about various topics via Discord. I like this idea. But we'd have to flesh it out and figure out how to do it, how often to do it, how to put it into the schedule. Because this wouldn't be just a podcast for an hour, hour and a half. This would be like an actual stream. Like my whole day stream, right, would be this. And I could have various different people joining at different times for different things that are going on. Right? That could be cool. And it wouldn't be the Level 1 podcast. It would be a new show. My podcast would still be my podcast, but there'd be a new show going on. I don't know how often to do it. See, we got to figure this out. Like, how often do you do it? You know, what do you call it? How does it work? Let's talk about this more. I don't want to take too much of the show today because we got to do the Oblivion stuff today, but I like this idea, and I think this is something to discuss and flesh out further. I think it's actually a solid idea to have this kind of variety in my content, okay? Also, it'd be nice if this giant hair lump would go down. So I'm going to go brush it right now because it's driving me nuts.